Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the TAKEOVER podcast, the women's segment of the Any and Everything podcast. And today we are going to be having a continuation of a previous topic. But before we get into that, we are going to introduce ourselves for any new viewers that we have. So I'll start. My name is Amber, and I am the little sister of Marcus, who is part of the Any and Everything podcast. That's a story in itself. It's hell, I will say. Love him to death, though. All right, go ahead. We can go this way.
Me, I'm Mel. And I'm Mel.
That's it. That's it. She's Mel, and I'm Lauren, and no relation to anybody. I'm just Lauren.
All right. And also, we would like to go around and see how our week has been. It is a beautiful Sunday, and I'm sure we are all getting charged and ready for next week. So let's start with Lauren. We're going to go back up and around. So how was your week?
My week was actually it was okay. It was full. I was in Jersey last weekend, and then I drove home, and I never caught up on my sleep, so I've been dragging all week. So it just seems like the normal stuff that I had to do just seemed extra all week long, just trying to catch up on my rest. But other than that, just the same old stuff, just working, and that's about it.
All right.
Yeah. Me, I've been working, still taking care of a sick dog. He's on heavy medication. This is exhausting in itself. But on top of that, working and taking care of himself. So
All right.
it's been an okay week. He's getting better. That's the upside to it.
All right. Well, that's good. That's good. Sorry you're going through it. I know
Right.
how hard that is having a sick pet. It's not easy at all.
Yeah.
My week has been, unfortunately, a little stressful. My job has been on one. I think everybody is stressed out at my job right now. So some people don't know how to direct that frustration. Well, I'll just say that. Me, I just like to keep to myself when I'm a little frustrated. Some people they do the opposite. They'll kind of lash out a little bit. So that's been going on a lot in my job. But it is what it is. I just go to work, do what I can, and go home. And that's just what my week has been this whole time. I know yesterday was April Fool's Day. Did anybody have any nice pranks pulled on them or pull pranks on anybody?
I did not. I think this is the first year that my friends were civilized. And we was distracted. My friend had a baby shower yesterday, so we were distracted. So she didn't. She was the ringleader of all the shenanigans. So she was well distracted yesterday. So.
I didn't get a chance to pull a prank on anybody, unfortunately. I usually do, but I did. Well, I think I didn't even think about it until like halfway through the day. Like, oh yeah, it is April Fool's Day, but yeah, been like I said, it's been a stressful week, so I won't even think about that.
I'm gonna be honest. I completely forgot about April Fool's Day. And I mean, a long time ago, I kind of suppressed it. I lost my favorite uncle on April Fool's Day, so I just stopped celebrating it. But you let go of that after a while, and you kind of get back into the swing of things. But I feel like this year I've gotten to that age where all of the people I am cool with that would normally do that, we would probably have like a heart attack or a stroke if we tried to do something to, like how we used to go to the prank level. It would be like, we would be like, oh my God,
Doing
no,
too
for
much.
real. And it would be just too much. Before we even get a chance to question the person about it, we'll be calling everybody we know because we want to make sure, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like we would take it too serious now. So none of the people I know did anything for April Fool's Day.
Oh man.
Yeah, I was thinking about that too. I think the pandemic and these last few years really kind of ruined April Fool's Day because everything's been so serious for the last couple of
Right.
years.
It kind of killed everybody's sense of
Yeah.
humor a little bit. Like it's like we're refinding our funny.
Right.
So I feel like because I'll be 40 in a couple of weeks. So I feel like at 50, I'll refine the sense of humor, and I'll probably be out here like pranking my grandkids or something like that. I don't know. We'll see.
Hopefully it don't take that long.
Oh man. So I guess to get into the topic for today. So as I mentioned, it's a continuation of a previous topic. Today we are going to have the whole culture topic part 2, but more so we're going to be discussing how the whole culture has affected the dating life of today. We have a poll as well, wanting to know if whether or not the whole culture has affected any of the audience's dating life. And of course, we're going to get into it on our end as well. So let's get started. How has the whole culture affected dating?
Hoo-wee. I just recently decided that I am not dating. I haven't dated in, I think my last date was like 3 months ago. And I'm just like, I'm over it because all of today's culture is all about gimme, gimme, gimme.
Mhm.
And the men that are on the receiving end of it, they become broken, they become, bitter. And me, a person that's not on that type of time, I'm on the receiving end of everything that these guys have been through. And I can't say that they aren't, at fault for how they feel about what they've been through, but I don't want to be on the receiving end. So I'm just like, I'm cool. And then the more people I talk to, they're saying the same thing, men and women. It ain't just women.
Right.
Men and women are like, I can't do it. I'd rather be by myself. I'd rather chill alone, have friends, have understandings between friends, and leave it at that. So that's what I've seen within the last, I'd say maybe 2-3 years in dating. I mean, last 10 years or so has been terrible. But specifically these last 3 years in the age of social media, whatever's trending is what's going on in the dating scene. And it's exhausting. And I'm just like, I'll pick it up later. But then when I think about picking it up later, I'm like, I may or may not. So that's my end of it. What about you, Amber?
So I mean, it hasn't affected me personally, I guess, because I'm not really in the dating scene, I'm not on the market. But from what I've been seeing, though, there's just a lot of different expectations now than when I, was kind of seeing what was going on out there. Like, it's just, uh, it's just different. Like, first off, the whole culture was initially supposed to be women empowerment. Like, it was supposed to be this, yeah, like this promiscuity, this kind of like glorified or whatever. But now it's going a little bit too far, I think, where
Very extreme.
yeah, it's very extreme. I also heard that over like the past 50 years, the marriage rate has dropped to 60%. So people are not getting married like they used to. People are getting married later in life. A lot more people are getting married in their 40s and 50s, versus back then we used to get married in like our early 20s. And I'm not even gonna lie, even for me today, I can admit that hearing someone getting married at 22, 23 is crazy to me. Like, I was like, I used to think that, oh, that's too soon for me. But it wasn't, I'm not saying that the marriage decrease is because of whole culture, but I do feel like that because people are getting, married later in life, if they want to get married at all, even, it leaves a lot more room and a lot more time for fuckery. Like, being single for a longer period of time, but
I don't know.
But that just depends on how you're, I guess, of what you're doing with that time period. And some people want to get married earlier, but it's just saying, most people are getting married later, and some don't even want to get married at all. But Lauren, what was your thoughts?
I feel like whole culture, I feel like it helps. That's just me. I feel like it hurts. I feel like it does a little bit of both. And as far as getting married, I mean, why I feel like why is that even on the table? And that's just me being for real because I'm a married woman. Why is that even on the table? I feel like if that's your goal, then that's your goal, stick to it. But the problem with the marriage rate declining is because 20, 30 years ago, 40, 50 years ago, people were forced to get married. If they had a baby, you had to marry that person. If you wanted to move out of your mama's house, you had to marry a person. And all of these things are no longer existent. You can thrive well and live life and have a great life, even having a child outside of wedlock, quote unquote. You can live a good life without having to be married to a man to be the provider. You can go out and get your own money and all that. I feel like people put so much on the word marriage, and it's really not that big of a deal. And this is coming from somebody who's been married almost 10 years. If me and Stevie never got married, we still would probably be together. We still would have these kids. And that's just me being for real. People put this whole thing about this whole marriage like, oh, married 21, 22, 23 years old, you get married. And for what? Why are we getting married in our 20s anyway? First of all, we barely know who the hell we are in our 20s. Then we're gonna go on and take on somebody else's child who barely know who they are, and they probably came from a jacked up ass situation, especially these men who were raised by women who treated them as their man and not their sons. So then they get with us and we gotta baby them, we gotta raise them. And then let's not even talk about the women who are out here marrying any man just because she wants to be cared for and taken care of, because she didn't have a father figure at home, or because her father figure at home treated her like shit, or whatever the case may be. Like everybody's getting married for the wrong reason. So if it takes you until you're 40 and 50 years old, then so be it. Then so be it. Because if you're getting married at 20 something years old because society says it's time for you to get married, or because you believe what you see on social media that it makes you think that it's time to get married, them first 10 years is going to be hell. You're going to catch it frontward, backward, sideways. It's going to be horrible because you went into it with this hierarchy of like the marriage life, and it gave you nothing of that. You know what I'm saying? That's why I don't frown on people who stay in relationships for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years before they get married. If that's what you had to do to secure your heart in this relationship, to secure the boundaries that you need to have in this relationship, but you knew that this was your person, it just took you a little bit longer to get down the aisle. It never changed anything prior to that marriage date. It's just now you just have a piece of paper that says, I own this person until the day that they die. I get to make their final arrangements for when they gone. Other than that, you're not going to change anything about that person just because you got married. So when it comes into play with the whole culture, some people are in their marriage and they're miserable as hell. Maybe somebody comes along and maybe that does something for them. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying we have to be realistic here. Sometimes having these extra whatever helps what you got going on at home. It really does. Either makes you appreciate it more, or it shows you exactly what you don't have that you really truly need. So maybe that'll give you the final push to leave that person alone so that that person can go and find whoever it is they're supposed to be with, and you go and take your ass over here with this person and y'all do your own thing. Like, I'm a realist when it comes to this. I'm not about to sugarcoat nothing for nobody. I don't care how people look at it like, oh my God, I can't believe she said that, and she's a woman. You're right. I'm a woman, and I have been treated as a woman my entire relationship life. So none of the men I've ever been with sugarcoated nothing for me. It was like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and find this over here. So you can either get with it or you can get lost. And that's just been for real. So I think everybody has to make adjustments when it comes to this quote unquote whole culture type of thing. You have to find what your boundaries are and what's suitable for you and your relationship. And then y'all need to move accordingly with that. That's just how I view it.
Right. No,
Well, what
I
I
guess.
see now, people aren't even making it to relationship. They're not even making it to relationships now because everybody's content with sleeping with everybody, no
Right.
commitments. Everybody's content with, because women are more self-sufficient now. 9 times out of 10, it's hard to find a woman who is ready to be in a relationship, because if you provide for yourself, if you get in multiple men at a time that want you, and those men are providing for you too, and you can have another man on the side too, it's not gonna push you to want to be in a relationship. Like you getting the best of both worlds. Men that want to be with you, and the ball is in your court. Everything is on your terms.
Right.
and you out here getting money, getting niggas, doing your thing, you're not gonna be ready. You're not gonna be, as quick to jump into a relationship now. So when they do that, people like me, who's like, I'm ready to get married.
Right.
I don't really even want to date. If there was a such thing as meeting your person and getting married right away,
Right. Right. You're
because
gonna have to
that's what
go.
I desire. But because of the mentality of most women now,
Mm-hmm.
that puts up a block. That's how it's affecting dating. That's putting up a block between the men that want to get married, the women that want to get married, the men that want to get married but have encountered these women that I just described.
Mm-hmm.
They feel like all women are like that now.
And it's the same thing with women who have been scorned by men.
Yep.
We do
They
that.
feel
We
like
take
all
and we
men are
and
like
we
that.
run with that, and but the thing about what the difference is that it never changes how we love. It just slows down our love process. With
Right.
the man, it changes how they love.
Yeah.
Because at that point it goes through the scrutiny phase of the next woman. He got to put her through a little something something to see if she's worthy enough and if she got the backbone to stick it out and stick around, because now he's like, I got to really see if this person is here for me or if this person is here for the things that I have. And
Mm-hmm.
that's the sad part, that men have been through that a lot more than women have. They have been used because men, it's in a man's DNA to be the provider. So a man will go out and a man will find a job. He will find a good paying job. He will always get that. As long as he has the willingness to. So because of that, and men tend to make sure that themselves are, their upkeep is good. Women see that and they like, oh, he got money, he got a little bit of money, and they go and they flock to him and they use him and they suck whatever bit of life they can get out of him, and then they throw him back to the streets. And then women like Mel, who are ready to settle down and appreciate a man, can't get it because now she's got this man that's been beat up on in a sense, and then but it bounces back though to those women that got all these multiple men. When you are ready to settle down, do not be upset at the scrutiny that you get. You have to take it.
Exactly. You
You
got
have to take it at this point because you put yourself out there. You've been running around these streets, you've been having all these dudes, side dudes or whatever. Now you're ready to settle down, and people may have been noticing that your little ran through. So now it's slim pickings for you. You got to take what you get at this point, but then they still have these high standards of, well, I don't care what it is I've been through, what it is I've done, I should still get this type of man. And we can't do that. We can't have those expectations. Like,
Well, I think,
right.
yeah, I think
You
like
still got
too,
some sort of standard, but you're not even being the standard.
but that's what I'm saying. Like going to Mark's comment, he said, "How did we get here?" Because I know at one point we kind of spiraled off into the marriage topic a little bit. Like, going back to the point I was making is that marriage is like not happening as often. Obviously, for other reasons, like I said before, I'm not saying it is because of whole culture, because obviously that's just dropping before whole culture was even a thing. But I do feel like that because most people are not looking into getting married at the younger age that we used to see back in the day, is that now they are like not really trying to be wife or husband material because they're not looking to be that at that moment. But like Lauren was saying, when you take those younger years that most people would have been married a long time ago, but you're starting to find yourself by dating, multiple people, and that's fine, nothing wrong with it. But it does unfortunately come with the scrutiny because you then played the field a little bit, and and you done probably came across some situations here and there, just being young, doing what young people I guess feel like they should be doing to find themselves. But it's just unfortunate because they do say if you want to be married or if you do want to have a certain standard, that you're not thinking of being a husband or wife material because you're not looking into that. But then when you finally say, you know what, I want to settle down, I want to, then unfortunately that's when those people who are looking to potentially marry you or be with you long term, they do kind of, that's when, and I hate to say this, but when men start kind of having that, what do you bring to the table response? And I think at first I didn't understand where that question was coming from, because I was like, why do men ask that now? Because most of the time it's us trying to ask them what can they do for us, and then now it's the men that's like, what can you do for me? other than provide poontang. And so
Because that's all they're doing now is
and
they
that's
just
because that's all that's being done. That's all women talk
right.
about in the songs and stuff like that, and the culture in general and media is what they could do with their bodies and all this and the third. And
Mm-hmm.
so now they sometimes feel like that should be it. That should all I should be able to offer. Like I'm doing this, that, and the third. And for some men, that's not enough. They like, no, like what can you do for me other than that? Like so it can make some of the dating parts, like the dating life, very challenging because what you might want is probably not even out there after a certain age. And I was seeing
Shut up, Ralph.
anyway. um but yeah, so if I was seeing a TikTok video one day, and this girl was literally in her car in tears because she spent a lot of her life being, single, and, kind of like doing, that's another thing too that is disguised as nowadays is self love. That's another topic, kind of, but, you know, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, like she was just being single and didn't really want to settle down. And then she was approaching, I think she's like in her late 40s or something like that. And she had to get surgery that was coming up, and she literally broke down in her car because she realized that she didn't have any kids. She didn't have a
I
husband.
saw that.
Yes. And she was worried because she's like, when I go through my recovery, I have no one to look after me. I don't, she says she has her mother, but her mother is, of age, so she could only do so much. And she just was saying like, hey, if y'all are out there trying to, stay single, or y'all doing that what they call it, city girl life, a hot girl summer, whatever, she's like, don't do that shit for the wrong reasons, and you end up, before you know it, your whole life passed you by, and now you
Mm-hmm.
find yourself in a situation where you realize, wow, this isn't what I really wanted. I was just following the fad. I was just doing what was cool. And that's where it becomes a problem, because some girls, it's okay to not want marriage. It's okay to not want to, have kids and have a family, but make sure that's something that you want to do for yourself. Don't do it just because some girl done talked about it on the rap song, or because what you seeing that's, going on out there. And half the time they be laid up with their husbands, and they talking about, you know, doing them, being independent and all that. But you following what's cool. So
Mm-hmm.
when that happens and you realize, oh no, this isn't what I really wanted after all, then it's, by that point it's too late. And she can find somebody, it's not too late, but in her mind, she's like, what am I gonna do when I'm like about to be 50 some years old? Like, it's just it was a rare, I guess, video of someone shedding light on the other side of things. Because a lot of
Yeah.
times you see people, saying the opposite, making it seem like this is the best thing to do, when it could be for them, but you just never know. Some
I
people,
mean, you know what? To really just to kind of jump back onto the comment that you made about the men acts, what do you bring to the table? I'm gonna be honest with you, and I know for a fact I bring a lot.
mhm.
That question annoys the hell out of me. That
Yeah.
question gets on my
I
last
hate it.
damn nerve. And honestly,
Right,
I'm gonna be for real with you. I never asked the man, "What can you do for me?" or this and that. I
right.
never asked that because I feel like this is what we're doing right now. We're doing this talking phase to get to know each other. People should be paying attention. People
You
can
shouldn't
tell
have
you
to ask.
anything they want to tell you. If you're asking them a question, you're giving them an open-ended
Right,
question. They're going to
right.
give you an answer, and they're more than likely going to tell you what you want to hear. So now you thinking you didn't snag the prize, and you just snag someone who just knows how to have a good
A
conversation.
gift of gab.
Like, come on, stop with that bullshit ass question. What do you bring to the
Hate it.
table? What? No, let's sit here and get to know each other, and you'll see what I have to offer. Trust and believe. You'll be able to tell by my demeanor, by my actions, by the morals that I display, that either I'm someone you want to keep around long term or not. We don't have to sit here and ask them dumbass questions. Like, let's go back to the simple stuff when we're getting to know each other.
Right.
And what's your favorite color? Ask that question. It's okay to still ask that question because
Yeah.
you're just getting to know that person. People come on the first date, the second date, the third date, and then honey, when I tell you they got a whole Wall Street marketing plan laid out of questions that they're going to ask somebody, and then you didn't ran this person off because they weren't prepared to sit here and answer no essay type questions.
Right.
And all we did, we came to go bowling. What we doing?
Yeah. And I'm not gonna
I'm trying
lie.
to get a wild turkey here. You up here talking about what I bring to the table, nigga, these nachos that we ordered, let's just
Exactly.
have
Right.
fun. Like
Right.
people gotta stop doing that. You killing stuff before it even gets started.
It's
And that's
a very
specifically why I chose to stop dating.
yeah, and it's a very like stuck up question. I don't like it either. Like I
Yeah,
understand.
because in a roundabout way, you trying to say like
Right.
you bring the most, so let me. What do you bring? I
And
And
see,
bring
it's
the most.
like,
So what you
I
yeah,
bring?
think the question is appropriate for certain people, and I think that's the problem. Is that the question started to get thrown around almost like dating you is applying for a job. That's what I kind of was like. Okay, that's
and
not
the people that's asking these questions
right. See, now I
with
understand.
you barely got the high school diploma.
Right.
And just because you're a man and you're strong and you found a niche in the system of how to get in there and you found a way to work something out that you now make this money, you have the audacity because you graduated with a 1.8 GPA because you just barely marched and you got the audacity to ask me what I bring to the table just because you're up here now making 80 grand, 90 grand, 100,000. No, 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 no. Let's not do that because you still could be an idiot. Common
Yeah,
sense is something
a well off food.
that is learned over
And it's bad
time.
'cause it's a thought process that's kind of going around because I saw another thing that kind of went a little viral when this girl said from now on if a guy asks me what you doing or what's up whatever she gonna respond back with a list of her bills and basically say if you can't pay these bills then don't talk to me.
See, and why are we doing that?
And
And
why
why are
it
we
was
doing
just yeah. Now that's what I mean. Like that the
like
approach is becoming used like and I get probably where the approach came from is when somebody do try to act like they doing the most and it's not nothing. And then you probably will eventually ask that question, well, what else can you do other than that? You making it seem
like
like you're doing I get where the questioning came from, but I feel like now it's being used like I said, like a dating application, like, okay, well, what can you do for me? Because I'm
right.
doing this, I'm doing that. So and it's just like and like you say like why what are we doing that for like
Why are we doing that? You're killing the dating game. And I'm not even in the dating game, but I got a lot of friends that still are, and they come to me all the time talking to me about the stuff that they done been through and all of the stuff. And I'm just like, why are we asking this question? And I will be honest with my friends and I will say to them, yes, you are a wonderful person. You are a great woman, but you should not be asking the question of what can you do for me?
right
Right.
You
asking them what
Ask
I'm
yourself
being for
first.
real because I know who you are. I know how you move. I know the things that you've done. I know what the way your mind still works. You should not be asking nobody that. You really should be taking time to really get a chance to know somebody and see what they're offering. And then telling them giving a man a list of bills. First of all, I know it's hard to believe, but there are really still men out here in this world that are good men that go to work and don't mind paying all the bills.
Uh-oh.
Like they out there. I promise you, they are out there, and it's hard to find them because they're being overshadowed by social media men that catch the eye of all of these women. So and they're fighting for their lives out here in the dating pool, trying to really get somebody that appreciates them. But it's a lot of hardworking men still out here that's willing to go do nine to whatever time and bring home that money and just say, stack your money, hold your money, just be there for me, just support me, this and the third. But when you have these men that ask the question like, well, can you mentally support me? Can you stand beside me and catch me if something happens? Well, can you do the same? Men are so quick to ask these questions of women, but can you
That
provide
part.
that in return? It's called reciprocation.
right
And that's another thing that's messing up this whole culture thing too, is people are not willing to reciprocate. They are gimme, gimme, gimme. They want, but they're not willing to reciprocate what it is they're asking for. And that's what's pushing people out here to be within the whole culture, because it's like, well, he's asking me to do all these wifely things, but when I ask him to respond to me in a timely manner on a text message, always all of a sudden, I'm busy, I'm working, I'm doing. Okay, well, I'm rather be in the streets then. So it's like
Right.
you got to realize how some people, the things you do, you're pushing people into this quote unquote whole culture of this phase of being in the streets, because it's like reciprocation is the smallest entity in the world. It is the
right
smallest thing. It's almost like, as they say, faith of a mustard seed is that small. It's reciprocation, showing interest in somebody,
Just
respecting their
yeah.
time.
Natural.
And people can't even do that, and they make that the hardest thing ever. So no wonder so many people be like, you know what, nah, I'd rather just be out here, because
Yeah.
like, because
And
I was with this person and she never reciprocated the respect and the love that I gave, and vice versa,
Mhm.
let's
it's
go
not
to
about you being busy. No, we're not even going there, Mark. Don't hit me with the because we're busy. Because this is the whole thing. If you wanted to, you would. If that woman meant something, if she was priority on your list, when you seen the text message come through to her, you would hear her back immediately, say, "Babe, I'm busy right now. I'll hit you back later." You would do just that, because you would
Right.
never want to leave her waiting and wondering, well, what the hell is going on? Hours then passed by. What you was busy for 19 hours? Like, I sent you that message yesterday. We on a whole other day. Don't hit me with that. Don't come with
Right.
that right there. We being adults here. We gonna talk adult shit here. So let's not go with the petty stuff. So because I'm busy, oh, that means she want me.
That
all right.
is
Hold on.
like a number one pet peeve of mine. Like that is a number one
because
pet peeve of
because if
mine.
a woman gave a man that excuse, he'll take it the first time. He may even take it the second time. And that third time though, he already checked out of that woman. He started to check out of her that first time, but he was like, well, you know what? She, I know she an entrepreneur. She doing this, she doing that. Maybe she is busy, but damn, man will sit there. He would never say it out loud, but a man will sit there and question and be like, well, damn, she that busy? Like, she
She
really
must
can't.
not really be
So that mean,
fully
and then a
like
man will instantly go to the thing of men do the same thing we do. You don't hit me back. He must be entertaining somebody else. Same thing they be thinking. She got to be entertaining somebody else, because I know it don't take that long. I understand she hairstylist and she work 12, 13, 14 hours a day, but I mean, she eats sometime. At some point she eating. So you mean to tell me she couldn't hit me back while she was eating? So like, the same questions that we bounce off of y'all bounce off of us too. So let's be for real. Like, and I'm
mhm.
not saying all men. I'm not saying all men. I'm just saying the bulk of men and the bulk of women do this shit. There's a very small amount of men and women who don't act that way, but you still have a higher percentage that do. So
and
when
the
does it like,
ones and the ones that don't act that way are always on the receiving end
there you
of
go.
that.
There you go.
And that is the main reason why I said I ain't doing it. The last two guys that I attempted to date was on that same I'm busy thing. But you approached me.
Yep.
So when you approached me, were you busy?
Right. Exactly.
You
You had
didn't
time
just
then.
get busy after you got my number. You
Yep.
didn't just get busy after we started talking.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, I'm like, okay, so you got to know me and you ain't that into me. Okay, cool.
And
That's
if that's
cool.
the case, then people have got to start being
Keep
honest
it
and saying
moving.
that people are
Yep.
so afraid of the truth and rejection that it's insane. A bunch of grown ass people are afraid to tell the truth. That is
Mm-hmm.
wild to me.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, and you know what? I
Yeah.
think that's what I thought made the quote unquote whole culture different than back when they used to call it being a player. Because back then it was called being a player, but
Right. Mm-hmm.
it was because you were literally playing people. You were lying and covering shit up and saying
Right.
that, one thing is one way when it's actually another. Now I thought that meant, it's more out in the open, because it kind of is, but
It
people
is.
still lie. People still try to, like, play games or whatever, but I feel like it's unnecessary to do that now, because you can easily find people who are okay with that type of shit, and that's fine. Like, if you
Mhm.
want to go ahead and do you, just like P Diddy and what's the girl name that he talking to? Well, she was a city
Who,
girl, I think.
city girl? Oh
Yeah.
yeah, from Miami.
Like, they have an understanding where he do him when he by himself, she do her when she by herself. When they together on their date, they together on their date. There's no lying about it. That's why every time he got caught with some other girl, it wasn't a big deal, because he's like, yeah, she already know I'm doing my thing. So what's the
Right.
issue? And that's why that never really caught a lot of media attention like that. You would see it, but it wasn't like, oh, he got caught cheating. He wasn't nothing cheating about it. He was just telling the truth.
Right.
And just to broaden the topic back out a little bit, so, like, the whole culture is something that is very popular and is selling in a lot of the media, because about a month ago, Sierra actually got in a hot seat over a song that she made, stating independent girls who don't need no man. And
Mhm.
people were giving her a lot of backlash,
Mm-hmm.
because here she is happily married. You know what I'm saying? She happily married. She, got what most what most people ask for in a marriage. So we see, we don't know what's
Right.
going on behind closed doors,
Right.
but it's portrayed to be an almost perfect marriage. But she's making music promoting, independent women, and there's nothing wrong with being independent and not needing a man. But when I saw the backlash she was getting, is like, people were saying that that's what's being promoted. And we got to remember the new generation is like 20, 21. They're still young and very and easily influenced. So when they hear this, then they think that's the way to be. And the problem is, I think there's an issue with differentiating between wanting a man and needing one. That was the biggest argument that I saw, that people feel like not needing a man means that they kind of take the definition and make it into something else, where it's like, okay, well, I could do these certain things that's considered part of the whole culture, whatever. But it's like, it's sad, because really it just shed light on what's being put out there, and people are taking it however they take it, and they live in this life that's affecting everybody else who's
Right.
not trying to do that. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
to me, Sierra making that song was, regardless of what she meant by it, it's, you're singing about something that's not your life right now. You don't
But I'm
need.
just saying,
but
but
at the same
isn't that what artists do though?
No,
Like,
it is. But that's what I'm saying.
I was getting ready to say that
because of
Beyonce
what-
brought up single ladies, and nobody
Right.
came down on her like that.
Right,
Nobody.
right. And I think because when single ladies came out, and I could be wrong, but when single ladies came out, I don't think the whole culture was a thing like that, for real. Like, I could be wrong though, but I think now, because that's kind of if that came out today, I think she would. But I think back then it was just a song or whatever, and then now we know what was going on. Her and Jay-Z was cheating on her. She probably really felt like that at the time. Like, yeah, well, I'm about to be single then, but we don't know. But I do agree that, yeah, that's what artists do. But I'm using that just as an example of how strong this whole culture is kind of coming into, because it's selling. Of course, artists are gonna go to that despite what they live. And then, rappers been doing this. Snoop Dogg was talking about,
Right.
yeah, so it's not, so it's been done before.
I feel like people really need to get off of social media. They need to stop.
Yes.
First of all, this is music. It's music.
Mhm.
It's music. First of all, nobody knew for the first 10 years of his career that J. Cole was married. Nobody knew. J. Cole is married.
Yeah.
He got a whole marriage license.
Mhm.
Okay? Nobody knew that. Because that man don't put his personal life into his music. He talking the same crap that everybody else talking. He's spitting the same stuff a lot of other people talking. So why is it a problem that Sierra did the same thing? There are a lot of women out here who are already thinking, I'm an entrepreneur, I got money, I don't need no man. So why not make an anthem for them? Give that song to them. That doesn't mean that woman is promoting it. It's just that she's making a song for which she's already seen as a popular thing right now.
Mhm.
So she's just feeding into it so it can feed back into her pocket.
Right.
That's just all it is, and people read so much into it, and it's like, for what? Why are we digging that deep into something like that? Like, people they went back to Lori Harvey. Leave that girl alone. That girl is 20-something years old, and she is living the life that she wants to live, and men are mad at her. She for the streets. Okay, that's the life that she's chosen. She knows that she's doing this.
Women mad at her too.
Women are mad at her, and I don't understand why, because this is the whole thing. You talking about men say, I want a woman that's honest. I want a woman that's straightforward. She take accountability. She don't hide nothing. Lori Harvey just gave you all four of those things in one. First of all, she done told people, I'm not trying to get married. So the moment we get to that and you start talking about it, I'm out. Is that not being honest?
That's honesty.
Honesty at its finest. She already told you, I'm here for a good time, not a long time. So why are men so mad at her when she drops one guy and picks up another? She's just living in the life that she said she did an interview and said, this is just the life that I'm going to live. So why are people so upset at the fact that she's living this life? That's what I would really like to know, because, honey, I'm sorry, but a lot of y'all favorite rappers do the same thing, but they're not being honest about it. They are lying. Right. They're out here lying. And a lot of them got whole wives. Look at what's the weirdo? Dame Dash did that whole interview talking about how he had was it Dame? Which one was that one? Irv Gotti. Ooh.
Irv. Oh yeah, was mad at Ashanti.
that whole thing talking
Got a
about
whole wife to
Ashanti.
be mad
Got
at
a whole wife at home and reminiscing to my I still got the watch she gave me from 25 years ago. Like, come on. Why are we living like that? That man is living in lies and living in the past when Lori Harvey is out here living in her truth and living in the future of this is just who I choose to be. So you can either go with it and sign this non-disclosure agreement to get this boom boom, or you can move on to the next person. Now, Meek Mill wanted her. He saw that non-disclosure. He said, "Man, I'm out of here. I'm dealing with that." Guess what? Good for Meek. He ain't on the list now. So he made room for somebody else to get up in it that didn't mind it. So why are people mad at this young girl? Because she is living the life that she is living and she's okay with it. Like, she chose the whole culture and she's fine with it. So let her be. But people are going to drag this young lady no matter what. And I'm just like, and it's baffling to me. Like,
It's sad because I mean, let's just be real. We in a day and age where it don't really matter what you do anymore. Almost like it's you gonna hear some backflash. Because look at Black China, she's trying to reverse, and
right.
people are still going in on her like oh well,
Mhm.
once she ran through, like there ain't no change in the world that could change that, and it's just like, but it's sad because she's putting something out there different than what you usually see. But I
Mhm.
Right.
will give it to her. She's mostly getting positive feedback. I'll give that to her. But you do see those, randoms who come forward and be like, well, she's still this, she's still that. That ain't gonna change nothing. Well, she's still, we'll see how long this lasts. And it's just like, okay, come
Mhm.
on now. Like, I guess those people are really scarred by the whole culture where they just like they don't see no, they just see
Yeah.
negativity. And like with Lori Harvey, um, I don't feel bad for her as far as like, the backlash that she's getting. I feel bad for her because I don't think it's really is I don't even know how her lifestyle is getting put out there to me. It's like she's not
Yeah,
doing.
because she's not a celebrity, so to
Yeah, so I'm just
speak.
like, are they like? It's not really her fault that she's being, they kind of getting in
Sought
her
out.
business.
Yeah, she's yeah, exactly. She's being sought
Yeah,
out,
she's
and it's
being
not that
sold
she's
out.
putting herself into the limelight. And I'm gonna go a stretch further, and I'm gonna just say this: how do people? Because Ralph called her a whore,
Ori Harvey, I saw that.
and that's his own personal opinion. But what I would like to know is how you know any of these men have smashed. We would like to believe. We would love to believe. Let's be for real. We would
It
like
just
to
helps the
believe.
narrative to
No, I
believe.
know, Rob. I know it's just jokes, but I'm just saying there's a lot of men out here that really is calling this young girl a whore and a slut, and that she's just, here to get smashed on. But let's be for real. How many of us got cameras in this woman's house and in that man's bedroom to know that these men are actually doubling down and smashed on this girl? Because I mean, let's just be for real. Because if you sign, this is the whole thing. They signed a non-disclosure,
Hmm.
so they can't talk about anything, which is true. But if this woman is out here putting that thing down on them that much and got them out here hurting, somebody will take that risk and they're gonna go the extra mile and they're gonna say something. They're gonna talk about it. They're gonna talk about it. They're not gonna care. They're not gonna care what they signed. They're gonna talk about it because they just that scorn. Ain't none of these men said nothing. They just moved on.
Just
So
moved on.
I'm just saying, it's either what it was either trash and nothing worth talking about, or they probably didn't even hit.
Hmm.
I'm just saying.
But
Exactly. Like he look, Rob said she not giving up and I really don't believe she is. I really don't believe she is. Not to every last one of these guys that social media has picked up on that she's been with. I don't believe she's letting them hit.
I mean, I never really thought about it. To be honest with you, it's sad because I guess I don't know. I guess like, and I mean this in a respectful way, not y'all per se, but I just always ask like, why do we care to begin with? Like, it's like if she
Right.
is, what I'm saying? Like, if she is, good for
Like,
her.
you
If she
know,
not, good for her. Like,
right.
but I get what you're saying. Like, people are quick to assume that is happening, but I
Mhm.
mean, is
Mhm.
it is what it is.
Right.
I just feel like she's not asking for this publicity. Like like at least not from what I know. Like yes,
Right.
she has a social media accounts and stuff like that. So she posted and people decide to choose that to post everywhere.
Right.
Like oh look, this her new thing. Is she really not doing nothing to bother anybody?
But she also still needs to be very mindful. So this is the reason why we can talk about her and not about us, is because she has the privilege to be able to move the way she's moving.
Right.
Us three, we cannot. We
No.
cannot.
Well, no, I'm just kidding.
I mean, if we just didn't care.
We can't. First of all, neither
Yeah.
one of us have enough money in the bank to move the way she moving. Period.
No.
We cannot. That's just for real. But like, I hope that she is mindful of this is like your life's resume that's
Right.
being displayed to the world. So I really hope that even though she's okay to be a part of this quote unquote whole culture, that she thinks about 20 or 30 years from now, she may still have her beauty because her mama is gorgeous. So I'm pretty sure she's got the genetics too. So she still may have her beauty in another 30 or 40 years, but the reputation that you have built over these last couple of years is going to follow you as a resume. It's not going to go anywhere. It's like your acting career. People will see everything you did because it's all over social media.
Yeah, and that
So
and
she needs to be mindful of that. You know, that would be the only thing that I would want to say about anybody who is in the same position as her and moving the way that she is moving during this culture. Be mindful that if you do see longevity in your life and a part of that being marriage and children, be
right.
mindful of the stones that you're laying behind you as you're moving into that next phase of your life, because people will see that, they will judge you from it, and they
Mhm.
will treat you according to that. They're not going to look at who you are today, they're going to look at who you were yesterday.
Yep. That is so true. That even brings me back to the what was her name? They called her Superhead.
Yeah,
And she was
Corinne
trying.
Stephens.
Yes, she was getting into real estate or whatever, and people were not. Unfortunately, they weren't taking her seriously because of
Yep.
what she was known for. Now she could. I don't know how she's doing now, but I remember like that was one of her struggles that she admitted is that it's hard for her to present herself as this, serious
Yep.
businesswoman when she was known as Superhead. Like,
Yep.
you know what I'm saying? So it is, and that's what I was, I guess, kind of getting into is that a lot of the generations that are being influenced by this whole thing are young and easily influenced and don't think about how that affects them later. And yeah, one thing they might not have, not everyone has a platform where everybody can see, what you've done. But if
Right.
everybody want to be a social media influencer or Instagram model and stuff like that. And you made a good point. They just need to be mindful that once you do get into that situation and you decide to, you get older, life happens, you mature, or
Right.
you change your desires or your goals, and you like, okay, well, I don't want to do this anymore. I've
Right.
seen plenty of like celebrities or reality TV stars who decided to flip that switch, and it was harder for them because of what they were known for doing for so long.
Right.
And that's unfortunate. Just like with the Black China situation, I'm happy for it, but it's some people that's looking like, bitch,
Mhm.
like. But I always felt like personally she wasn't happy anyway. Like even when she was doing that stuff, I kind of could tell there was
Right.
something going on. But that's a good point to make. Seriously.
Yeah, I mean that's why I said in the very beginning that when it comes to the whole culture, no matter what phase you are in your life, if it works for you, it works for you. But just be mindful. Be mindful of the trail that you're walking, because it is gonna follow you. It really is, and it's sad because it's a lot of no name females from my old neighborhood back home in Jersey. And I mean, until this day, we all in our 40s now. We all about to be 40 or 41 or 42, and people still know them. They know them as, oh, that's such and such used to get the train run on her when we was back in 8th grade and 9th grade and stuff like that. And it's to this day. You know,
I know. Okay.
Still talking about it.
still talking about it.
Yep.
They are still talking about it. Like, and it's sad. You know what I'm saying? It's really sad that people are not given a chance to change, to better themselves, to grow, because we all do things in the moment that we think that is going to get us to where we want to be.
Right.
We are willing to do those things, and then some of us are very cautious. I was always very cautious because I was just afraid. First of all, I grew up with my grandmother. Honey, you talking about having fear instilled in you. So I was always afraid to do certain things and to be around certain people because of that whole reputation that you are the company that you keep type thing. So, and as much as I hate to admit it, even at this age now, she's very right. It is.
Very.
It is. Yeah, the company you keep. You have to be very mindful of the company you keep, because you will get wrapped up into people believing that you are that company,
Mhm.
and it will stick with you, because people will pull you out there and be like, boom, this and the third, boom. Lauren over there looking like a mean English. Hey, listen, Mark.
No, me either.
I can help you with a little bit of your English language too. So,
Oh,
and yes, I do have the ruler because I'm gonna swat your ass. So yes,
Okay, all right, all right. Hold
he
on.
started. He
While we
started.
I saw well before we
Mark,
get
go
into
take a
this
nap.
heated back and forth, did we check the polls? Did we get any results from the polls?
The poll. Let's see.
I don't know. I don't know. Does it pop up for us? I don't because I don't see anything.
I don't
It's on
either.
Facebook, right?
Is it on? Did it go through on Facebook?
I don't
I
see it on.
because I didn't see anything. Let
Can
me
we
find
try
out. There
poll
you
up,
go.
please?
Uh
But while we were doing that, um,
So I
I
don't
would
know.
like to think that how Lori Harvey and other women that choose to live a part of that free culture, I would like to think that it does not affect anybody. Like, I don't care how anybody else lives their life. However, and I hate to say this, but more often than not, men tend to generalize women. And when they're looking at us to date, they're also coupling in the Lori Harveys and the super independent women and the trending topics about women. They're putting it all into one big old mixing bowl and they present it to the woman that they supposedly want to date. And they're saying, oh, well, y'all so independent. Y'all so this. Y'all want to be this. Y'all want to be that. And it's like, it irritates me because I'm like, I'm not that person.
Right.
I don't want to be super independent. I don't want that. Open my car door for me. Take the trash out for me.
Right.
Like, I don't want all of this super independence. As a single woman, like, I've never been married. I never even lived with a man. So I've had to do everything by myself. And I just noticed yesterday when I was helping put up the baby shower gifts, I was just noticing then, like, me and another friend, we're helping, and we're single and we're helping the guys. And it's like we carrying heavy stuff. And I'm like, you know what? That's why we single now, because we don't know how to just be, just be women. Just let the men do all the heavy lifting and do all that stuff. But it comes from having to do all of this on our own because men are not so quick to be that help to us like that anymore, because there are so many women out here that are like,
well, that's because, but you know what? That's because we're not using them at our disposal. We're not using them for how we. That's the problem. See, this bounces back on us. If we go to a man and ask him to be a man, meaning that, hey, can you come and lift this for me? Give that man, tell him what it is you need, so that he'll feel like he is needed and wanted by this woman.
Yep.
We don't do that enough.
I literally checked myself yesterday for
we
that.
Don't do that enough.
I did
like,
that.
We have to. We gotta. We really gotta dig a little bit deeper into ourselves when it comes to looking for a man to be a man. I don't touch the trash in my house. I'm not doing it.
That's sad because, like, a lot of the I feel like we generalize each other a lot because a lot of men are scarred from when they were trying to help a woman. I think we had this as a topic previously, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure, but just this hyper independence and this toxic feminism that we got going on sometimes, where like a man could offer to a seat to a woman or offer to hold the door for her, and I don't need that. Do I look like I need you to ask you to? And it's just like, then they get to this place where they're like, okay, well, you know what? And it's sad because they're like, then they don't want to do that for the next person. And then, and that's, and I will use my small petite size to my advantage. Like, oh, I can't lift this. Oh, can you help me?
Right.
And you see what Ralph just put here? He said, I love women's independence, but let me help you make your life easier. Exactly. That's what it is. That's what we don't know. That's what we don't know how to do. We don't know how to let y'all help us make our lives easier. We some of us who, especially women like myself, who grew up in a single parent household with just women, and I used to mow the lawn. because my
Mhm.
grandmother got old enough, we couldn't pay, we didn't pay anybody. I became the house worker, so I used to mow the lawn. So when Stevie and we moved in together, and I went out there one day to cut the grass, and he was standing on the porch, and when I tell you, I was like, "What the hell am I doing? What?" But see, I had already
It's
realized
a
that
subconscious.
I had taken a moment and demasculated him by just going out there and even touching the lawnmower. What I should have done was say, "Hey, the grass needs to be cut. You gonna do that today, or you gonna do that tomorrow?" Or you want to hold off to the weekend. I should have gave him his options and let him choose, to let him know I'm seeking you as a man to go out and do this type of work for me, because I am the woman of the house. I'm in here cooking dinner, I'm in here taking care of these kids. Go out here and cut this grass. So and it's not a thing of telling him what to do, it's a thing of asking him. Men want to be asked
Yeah,
sometimes to do these things, and we
right,
have to be able to ask them and not demand it from them. So we
right,
be hurting ourselves a lot of times when it be coming to these men.
And that
right.
goes, and I saw a good point that Darren had made. There are some things that us as men should just know. And I feel like that
Right.
that helps and hurt us at the same time, because some women do feel like that some of this stuff is just men need to just know. But like you said,
Mhm.
Lauren, sometimes they want to be asked. So it's like if I
Yeah.
They
see the
want to be
trash
wanted
getting full,
and needed.
and instead of just asking, hey, you take the trash out, some people feel like, well, you should know to take the trash out because you're a man. Then they don't say nothing, and they just kind of like, then it
Right.
just starts, a lot of assumptions start getting made. But
But
yeah,
also, it goes back to the hyper independence of women
right,
sometimes. If
right,
you
Yeah.
if a man grew up in the household with a single mother who did it all,
right,
even taking out the
Right.
trash and cutting the grass, he's not automatically thinking this is my role as a man, because one, he did not grow up in the house with the father.
Wow, it's
Two,
stupid.
his mama did it all. So he looking at a woman like,
Right.
you can do it too. But
right,
Right.
to Lauren's point,
Instead of
you said,
her, and I'm sorry, instead of her going to her son and saying, "Hey, you getting of age now. I need you to go outside. Let's go take out the trash. I'm gonna show you how I
right,
normally do it, how I would like to do it. It's how we bag the trash up." So now every Tuesday, we know we got garbage being picked up on Wednesday. It's your job now to make sure all the garbage in the house is taken out and the garbage can is pulled to the curb. Things like that we have to start teaching them. And that was my problem right there. I didn't even do that with my own son. I didn't do that with my own son. And we don't even live like in the city like we did in Jersey. Our driveway right there with the garbage can. I called Stevie one night while he was at work and was like, "You forgot to take out the trash." He was like, "Cash is in that room. Tell him to put his pants and stuff on." And I was like, "I got a 13-year-old son here. What the hell am I doing?" So now I be like, I call him, I be right in the kitchen. I call him, "Hey, get the trash together and go ahead and take the trash out, get the trash pulled out and stuff like that." And it's just that simple. It's really
yeah.
just that simple. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
I was gonna
I'm
say,
telling you, no, go ahead.
your point about Stevie seeing you cutting the grass, and it kind of emasculated him a little bit. On the flip side, there are some women that will be out there cutting the grass, their husband standing on the porch looking at them like, "What are you doing?" And then she
Right,
want to start an argument because
right.
she cutting the grass. Well, why I can't cut the grass? I got hands, I got feet, I can do that.
and
And
that's
that's
what, yeah,
another reason why men stop wanting to do for these hyper independent women. And for years, we have blamed men for not doing for us, for not being chivalrous,
Right.
when it's these hyper independent, super masculine women that have taken that from them. And now they're just like, okay, well, all women are like, they like, sometimes they generalize it. So they're like, okay, this is the culture of women now. So we just gonna
Right.
let them do what they want to do. They got it, they can do it all. So we ain't even gonna try no more. So
And
that's
let's
how,
not,
that's where we at now.
and let's not be so independent that we yelling, "I don't need no man, I don't need no man," and then you get 6 feet of snow, and all of a sudden you need your car cleared off, get that
Right.
parking spot. Now all of a sudden you looking at a man. What are we doing? What
Like,
are we
no, I
doing
can't.
here? Because you screamed all summer long, "You ain't no man, you ain't no man." And now all of a sudden you need somebody with a little more testosterone than you to kind of come out here and take care of this
That
business.
snow a little heavy.
Let's not do that. Let's
Mm-hmm.
not go there, because like I said, we really be hurting ourselves. Now I have a neighbor who it's therapeutic for her to cut the grass. And that's something that her and her husband both understand. So guess what? He'll build a whole house for her and leave her to cut the grass if that's what she wants to
I
do.
got caught, y'all. I'm sorry, Mom. That's water in the can is new.
Oh,
uh,
Expect you to cut the grass.
um,
And see, that's kind of what Darren is saying. Some stuff men should just know. Like, you're not expecting for Robin to cut the grass, but if Robin said, "I want to cut the grass," I'm sure
then
you're
let
not
her.
gonna say no. That's a
Right.
man's job. I mean, if you want to do it, I mean, ain't nobody gonna fight you for it. But at the end of the day, you know that's something that the man gonna be doing.
You ain't gonna hear me say that unless I get my ride on lawnmower like Forrest Gump and I get the shirt and the hat. And other than that, if I can't recreate the whole Forrest Gump scene where he was riding on his lawnmower, I'm not going out and I'm not cutting nobody's grass no more. I did.
you know what's funny? Like, cause it's just talking about how we raising the kids and stuff like that. There was something I just thought about, like how at one point people were focused on raising their daughters to do some of this stuff so that they won't have to rely on a man. Like, oh, I'm gonna teach her how to change her own tire. I'm gonna teach her how to, do fix this, fix that, so she don't need a man. But as soon as they started to suggest that they should do the same for men, that they should learn how to cook and clean and wash their clothes, do the domestic type of chores, then it was a little bit more outrage. So like they had this little toy kit that came out and it was like a boyish looking kitchen set. And
Right.
people were actually upset. They were like, oh, wait a minute, hold on, this is getting. And I'm like, well,
Turning these boys gay. Like, what?
yeah, I'm like,
You don't know how to wash dishes and cook?
Some of y'all favorite restaurants, the head chefs are men.
our man. And I'm
And
like,
y'all
so
be
I
up
thought
here
that was
licking, and
interesting.
men be out here licking the plate
Licking
clean.
the
That
plate.
food was so good. I ain't never had lamb chops that tender before. You know why? Because Rashid was back there in the kitchen and he used his great grandmama's recipe. So, you know what I'm saying? So it's okay, but and
Right.
I think it's the intent in which we teach our kids these things. Don't tell them things like, I'm teaching you how to change the tire so you don't have to rely on no man. I'm teaching you how to change this tire in case your man that you have is not around, or in case you don't have a man and you need to know how to do this on your own.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
how you need to talk to
Yeah.
these young ladies. And same thing with a man. I'm not teaching you to cook so that your woman can lay up and not do nothing just in case you get a lazy girlfriend. I'm teaching you to cook so that maybe sometimes you can lighten the load for her.
Right. Just like
Surprise
Ralph
her
said,
with
like,
dinner.
he's trying to
Ain't
make
nothing
life
wrong with
easier.
it. So
That's
it's
it.
all in our delivery. It's in our, and we have the power of this delivery as women. And sometimes we choose it to deliver it the wrong way. And same thing with men. Men are just so gun ho on, it's my daughter. I don't want her to have to rely on no man. And you can teach her not to rely on no man, but also teach her how to love a man too.
Right.
That part.
And
And
keep your
see,
hands.
that's how I grew up. Like, my dad, I always joked that my dad thought I was his third son, because my dad taught me how to change a tire, do oil. I watched him do brakes, all of that type of stuff. But on the flip side, my mama also taught my brothers how to cook, how
Right.
to clean. We all knew how to do the things that we needed to do just to be
To survive.
self-sufficient adults.
Yes, to
Like,
survive.
just to be
Like,
adults. But on the flip side, like, I have had to change my tire myself sometimes. I don't want to do that.
exactly.
And
I
that,
don't want to do that.
yeah, and
I can
that's
call
the
anybody. I'm gonna call anybody other than myself. I ain't changing my oil. I definitely ain't doing no brakes.
Like,
So,
I'm not doing it.
yeah, I know how to do it, but I ain't doing it. I can call any man I know.
I
I
just
know we
noticed,
are,
y'all, we done went over an hour. Lord,
yeah, I'm
yeah.
about to say
Yeah.
we're 6 minutes
We are over
in,
now.
unless you
We
guys
are-
have some other points to make or anything like that.
No other
I'm
point.
good.
We
I
can
guess
talk
a funny point. My dad, I was the last one, the last hope at a girl. So my dad raised boys before me and forgot a few times that I'm not a boy. So I got called little nigga a lot of times. I was like, all right.
Listen. You better understand. Listen, my grandmother, West Indian, and she was very independent. So she raised me that way. And I'm trying to tell you right now, I commend Stevie for how long he stuck around, because I gave this man hell in the beginning. You talking about having to fight for love? This man fought for love. I did not know how to love him at all. I knew how to cook for him though. I fed him real good. I knew how to cook for him though. I was like, listen, I did those grandma moo dress type of activities for him. So I kept him, well fed. But I didn't feed him enough love. And that caused problems because I didn't see it. I didn't see it at home. I didn't see it at home. And my grandmother was very much, I will honestly say to this day, my grandmother was bitter. I can say that she was bitter. Her marriage did not work. And my grandfather did a lot of stuff to her as far as like horrible money management, cheating on her, and she developed a chip on her shoulder. And so everything she instilled in me is go out here, get an education so you don't have to rely on no man. Don't look for no man to do nothing. And I went with that mentality up until I finally got with the man who wanted to do something, and I damn near pushed him away because I wouldn't let him do anything. So,
Right.
it happens.
It has to be a balance. Definitely has to be a balance.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
But we got to get away from this mentality of how much you gonna give me to date me, or I don't need you to do nothing for me. Like nowadays, women are, I don't need nothing from you, but at the same time, you got to pay me to date me.
I want everything.
I'm not giving nobody no list of bills. If I couldn't take care of those bills before I got with you, I ain't need them.
Yep.
Period.
And I don't feel like nobody should be hunching on nobody's child if they broke and can't pay their bills.
What you say, hunching?
Yeah. I'm telling my age. Look, I'm telling my age.
Somebody was definitely raised by their grandma.
Hunching? What y'all doing over there? Hunching.
Out here, honey. Just out here, hot and hunching. And ain't got 2 quarters.
Ain't got 2 niggas rubbed together.
They can't even rub together for $1. Can't get a loaf of bread, but y'all out here hunching and creating these children. Not children, these children. Out here.
That's funny, hunching. I've heard that a long time. Out there hunching. Oh my God. Then they get mad when you start laughing. Ain't nothing funny. Like, oh my God. Yes, my oh my God.
I think we gotta talk about our sponsor. I don't know who if Ralph wants to come talk about it, but we do have a sponsor. Debbie.
Yeah, I'm about to say, come on in here. Come on in
you
here.
get 10% off if you use the code ANEP, or you can click the link down in the description box below. Don't forget to use the 10% code ANEP. When you use that code, that helps us out and helps you out at the same time. So W is a natural energy drink. Doesn't leave you with the sluggish feeling after you drank it. It gives you enough energy for the day. So go ahead and check out W. Again, you get 10% off when you use our code ANEP. Click the link down in the description box and try it out. Let us know what you think about it. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share this video with somebody who you think might like it. This topic is a heavy topic that we did months ago, and it's a topic that keeps going on. There's always something to talk about when it comes to this topic. So we had to bring it back for a second time for y'all. So share this with somebody that you think would be interested in this. Other than that, Amber, you want to close this out?
Bitches ain't shit but hoes and tricks.